It's a first for the channel. It's a two-part unboxing video. Red Storm by GMT Games. And the brand new, unofficial NATO solo scenarios, Dark Blue Defection. So let's crack open the core game. Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman, Wargamer. And this is part one of an unboxing featuring Red Storm, designed by Douglas Bush from a system designed by Lee Brimmicombe-Wood and published, of course, by GMT Games. The reason it's split into two is because there is a brand new unofficial solo expansion for this game. But what I thought I'd do first, in case any of my subscribers or viewers haven't seen the core game, we'll crack that open first. So, what's all this about? Red Storm, the air war over central Germany, 1987. Red Storm is a standalone game using the proven downtown game system to simulate the air battles of a hypothetical war between the air forces of the Warsaw Pact and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization over central Germany in 1987. The game's 36 scenarios, including 4 solo scenarios using a new solo bot, and 2 campaign scenarios that link multiple raids together over a period of days, depict a wide range of air combat situations. So, like Downtown and Elusive Victory before it, Red Storm simulates these air combat scenarios in detail, but at an operational scale, where players see the big picture, with an emphasis on mission planning in a complex threat environment. Players are tasked with organising ground defences using many different weapons, as well as integrating numerous aircraft flights with different roles such as bombing, suppression of enemy air defences, electronic jamming and air superiority. In line with the initial games in the series, the rules, thoroughly revised for the modern air battle space, reflect the human side of the conflict with a focus on the morale of the real people that would have flown the aircraft and fought on the ground. The Warsaw Pact player uses forces from both the Soviet Union and East Germany, including 37 different aircraft models and 9 types of surface-to-air missiles. The core of the Warsaw Pact air fleets are MiG-21 and MiG-23 multi-role fighters, but they are backed by a wide range of dedicated tactical bombers, such as the MiG-27, the Su-24 and 25, along with dedicated recon aircraft like the MiG-25 and strategic bombers, including the Tupolev-16 and 22. Early models of sophisticated MiG-29 and Su-27 fighters, cruise missiles and Mi-8 helicopters are also available. The NATO player fights with the air forces of the United States, United Kingdom, West Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium and Canada, featuring 42 different aircraft types. Aircraft run the gamut from multi-role workhorses like the F-4 and F-16 to specialised ground attack aircraft such as the A-10, Alpha Jet and Jaguar, the stealthy F-117, pure superiority fighters like the F-15 and the deep attack F-111 and Tornado aircraft also appear. NATO ground forces bring to the battle 7 types of SAMs and various radar-guided AAA systems. The skies in the late 1980s over Germany are deadly, but with good planning, brave crew and a little luck, victory is possible. Are you up to the challenge? So here's a look at the map, some of the counters here. So, game contents: 5 full-colour counter sheets, 2 22 by 34 inch full-colour maps, 3 aircraft data cards, 5 player aid cards, an appendices booklet, rules booklet, scenario booklet, 2 log sheets and 2 10-sided dice. Ages 14 plus, players 1 to 2, playing time 1 minute per game turn, and the map, each hex is 2.5 miles. On the game meter, the complexity is quite high at 8 out of 9, and the solitaire suitability is 6 out of 9. Game credits: lead design of Redstorm, Douglas Bush. Lead system design, Lee Brimmicombe-Wood. Art director, Roger B. McGowan. The usual crew of executive producers. Production coordinator, Tony Curtis. Map, graphics and chart, Mark Simonich, Charlie Kibler, Dariusz Buraseski, apologies for my pronunciation, and Douglas Bush. Cover illustration, Antonis Karidis, and package design, Roger B. McGowan. Right, let's get the shrink wrap off. The shrink wrap is off, so let's open the box. It's the heavy-duty 2-inch box, which GMT are now using. So let's see what's inside. So we have some baggies and a couple of D10s. And then the rules. So let's have a look at those. These come in at 60 pages, matte paper, full colour. And I'm the first to admit I know very little about the mechanics of this game. I've watched a few videos, but it did pique my interest. So let's have a look through. Introduction, glossary, game equipment, some of the playing pieces here, sequence of play, typical GMT 2-column rulebook, quite dense text, not a great deal of pictures, air units. Here we are, movement, initiative, formations. I'm actually looking forward to maybe playing this face to face with somebody like the Blue Tweezers, who I know has got this game on Vassal. So watch this space. Airfield operations, detection, air-to-air combat. So it's really quite involved. I'm not sure how the bot works in the core game, but I'm looking forward to trying out this new expansion. Air unit damage, post-combat procedures, anti-aircraft artillery. SAMs and radars. SAM attacks, additional SAM rules, avoidance. Air-to-ground ordnance. All the different types there. Air-to-ground attacks. Anti-radiation missiles. Cruise missiles. Nukes. Ground target damage. Electronic countermeasures. Fuel and recovery, random events, weather, night, recon missions, helicopters, search and rescue, Army ground units, Airfields, crikey. It's all here, isn't it? The fronts and scenario conditions, scenario setups. Victory, and here they are, solitaire rules for the core game. There are some rules we don't use in this limited solitaire rule system. So, I think what they're saying here is that the limited solitaire rules allows you to play any scenario. You're playing both sides. The rules that you don't use, how to set up the scenarios. And here's the full solitaire rules for the solitaire scenarios, I think. The campaign games. Quite a bit on that. And then rules index. That carries on to the back page. And here are the credits. Crikey, them's the rules. And here's the scenario book, which is just as large as the rule book, 60 pages, matte paper, again full colour, and 30 scenarios, couple of campaign scenarios, and 4 solo scenarios. I won't go through them all because they're all pretty similar in their write-up. You've got a background, you've got the targets, the scenario conditions, orders of battle, special rules, and victory conditions. Runway busting. Red flag. So this will keep you busy for a heck of a long time. Let's see if we can find the solo scenarios. Oh, don't start singing. Here's one of the campaign scenarios. And here they are, solo scenarios. So that'll be interesting. As you now know, there is a new unofficial solo campaign expansion, which has 10 scenarios in it, and we'll be looking at that in the next video. But just bear in mind that it does have its own solo scenarios. I think it uses a different method to the expansion, but we'll find that out. There we are. That's the scenario book. And lastly, the Red Storm Appendices book comes in at 28 pages and has various things in it like orders of battle and whatnot. So let's have a look. Here are the orders of battle. NATO. And the sort of orders of battle they're using for the different types of missions they were given by the looks of it. Here's the Warsaw Pact order of battle tables. Airfields. So really in-depth background for this game, where the ground units were located, and examples of play, which is always very welcome. Example of play number 2. Designers' notes and tactical hints. Why 1987? And here are the tactical hints. And a nice bibliography. And here's a planning map because I understand in the two-player game at least you have to plan your flights and things like that, so that's there for you. And there we are. That's the Appendices book. And then there's loads of player aids. Here's Player Aid Card 1. And again, I haven't much of a clue what all this means, but I dare say we'll find out. So on here we've got movement actions, and it's good to see they reference the rules as well. Turntable, AAA table, and damage. Engagement. Air-to-air combat sequence. Air-to-air engagement requirements. Crikey. Beyond visible range, I think that means. Air-to-air engagement requirements. You want Chrome? I think we've got it. Maneuver table. Air-to-air geometry, combat geometry. Shot resolution. And damage allocation, scatter, SAM avoidance, morale check. My goodness. Right. That's number 1. Here's Player Aid Card 2. We've got detection table on here, standoff and spot jamming, track table. Yes, I think we'll see in a minute on the counters. They've got the little suits on them, I think. Flight visual. SAM data table and acquisition, attack, anti-radar SAMs, infrared SAMs, SAM defense, SAM damage table, and some more SAM stuff here. Anti-radiation missile attack there and their ranges. Random events. We like those. That's number 2. Player Aid Card 3. Flight quality table. Cavalry, ordnance speed limits, ground unit, organic AAA table. Bailouts. Combat search and rescue. That's the simple one. CBU capability line of sight. Air to ground attack table. Attack profiles, damage, weather. What isn't in this? Campaign ground unit replacement, collisions on the ground, repairing your runway, campaign SAM ammo, arcs and hemispheres diagrams. Wow. Player Aid Card number 4. If, like me, you like a game with loads of player aid cards, charts and tables, well, I think we found it. Number 4. Scenario setup sequence and campaign scenarios. Sequence of play during scenario and completing it. On the other side, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance conditions here for this table. Suppression of enemy air defences on here and their attacks, and early warning table. Player Aid Card 5. This looks like it concerns the bot, because we've got the bot flight activation table, movement phase order, flight actions. So primary actions and combat actions. Engagement actions, non-combat actions, general bot flight behaviour, AAA activation table for the bot, SAM activation table for the bot, and actions, SAM, AAA and ISR table here. Full solo rules sequence of play, that's handy. Bot random event instructions. And then we've got the aircraft data charts. Here's one for the Belgium, Canadian and Netherlands aircraft. Again, not sure what all this is, but I understand this data on these charts has been put onto a deck of cards which you can order. So it's much easier to find the data you want. but for the moment these will do fine. So we've got the data here, we've got air-to-air weapon chart and the aircraft notes, and on the other side some examples of the gorgeous aircraft, including the F-111 and the Jaguar. Here's the USAF data chart, and this is a bifold. You can see why these cards may be useful and handy. And inside this bifold we have the British RAF aircraft data, and the Federal Republic of Germany's aircraft data. And here's the USSR aircraft data chart, again a bifold, and continues on this side, and inside we have the German Democratic Republic aircraft data and some of the aircraft that were used. Next, as it said on the box, 5 sheets of counters, but in reality 4.5, and here's the first one with some admin markers there. As I say, haven't got much of an idea what's going on. It's on the thick brown core though, and they're punching out very easily. So this looks like hidden information. Sheet number 2. Some ground forces here, some SAM units down here. Nuke attack. Sheet number 3. Half-inch counters by the look of it, I think. Sheet number 4. And just to finish off the little half sheet, sheet number 5. Bits and pieces on it. And there we are. The 2 maps, which we'll have a look at in a moment, and a couple of pads of log sheets. Here's the first one, and on the other side, campaign game squadron planning sheet. And the second pad has your SAM and AAA log sheet on one side, and on the other side the map for you to plan out your mission. And as you'll see when we do the solo expansion for this game, these are already filled out for you. Here's the first of the maps, and I warn you now, they run from top to bottom, and there's not a lot of detail on them because you've got to bear in mind that this is air warfare, so what's on the ground doesn't really matter as much as if you were doing land battles. But it looks nice enough. Up here, we'll have a look in a minute, we can see some turn tracks and the like. And gently as we come down, we can see places like Koblenz, Frankfurt and Bonn. And here's the bottom of the map. Let's have a close-up. So we can see Cologne here, and this is clear, I think, rough and mountains. So a quick look at the top where the tracks are. We've got the turn track, phase track and detect track, and here a terrain key. Here's the second map, and of course this goes on the right of the one you just saw. You can see here East Germany. Let's have a quick look down the map. No tracks or anything on this one. Let's have a quick close-up before we leave. There we are, very famous place for people that play these alternate history, World War III, Cold War games. Fulda. So, them's the maps. So, this has been an Open the Box, an unboxing of a game I've had my eye on for quite a while. It is Red Storm, the Air War over central Germany, 1987. This game designed by Douglas Bush, and the system design is by Lee Brimmicombe-Wood. Published in 2019 by GMT Games. So as I said earlier, this is like a part 1 of my Open the Box. Part 2 will take a look at the new unofficial NATO solo scenarios Dark Blue Defection expansion. But don't forget, this game itself has 4 solo scenarios. So it'll be interesting to see how the two systems compare. I think I'll be pleasantly surprised, but we'll wait and see. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and you found it interesting. If you did, and it was, and you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would consider subscribing to the channel, because that really does help. Pushing the like button of the video helps as well. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then push the bell. Leave a comment. I know this game has an army of devoted fans, and I can see why. It's very involved, but I'm hoping to chip away at it. But what do you think? Let me know. I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you very much. And just before I go, one last thing. If you want to support the channel a little bit further, well, now you can buy the channel a coffee. And all those coffees do indeed go towards maintaining the channel and allowing it to upload new content. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description, and thank you. So until we see that expansion unboxing, as always, you take care and goodbye.